In this video, we are going to look back at some addition strategies that we are used to, and we're going to talk about when they might be the most efficient strategy to use to solve addition problems. So the first strategy we have here is the tens and ones strategy. This strategy is probably the most familiar strategy. That means it's the one that we're used to using the most often. Sadly, the tens and ones strategy is no longer the most efficient strategy for us to use in third grade. Now that we are starting to work with such big numbers, it becomes very hard to keep track of all of the place value pieces we are drawing, and it can cause us to make silly mistakes that we could have avoided if we had kind of a more efficient or neater strategy. So this is a really great strategy to use when you're trying to check your work. If you think your work maybe got you the wrong answer, this is a strategy, because it's your most familiar strategy, that you can use to check your answer. But we're going to try to use some different strategies moving forward for the second half of third grade. The jump by friendly numbers and the jump to a friendly number strategy can both be very efficient strategies depending on the numbers that you are working with. With this equation here, 398 plus 253, which one do you think is more efficient to use? Take a look at the number of jumps that I had to make. Think about which one would have been easier to do in your head. For me, jump to a friendly number was more efficient for this problem because 398 is only 2 away from 400. Any multiple of 100 is very easy to add or subtract from compared to other numbers, because it is such a friendly landmark number. So here I was able to jump 2 more to get to that friendly number, and then I only had 251 more left to add. Jumping by friendly numbers would be a more useful strategy if you had 2 numbers that were more similar to this number here, where it's not really close to any multiples of 100. Another strategy I want to show you guys that can be very efficient is the give one, take one. We learned this shortly before Thanksgiving break. This strategy can be the most effective, just like the jump to a friendly number one is. When you have a number that's very close to a multiple of 100, the give one, take one strategy allows you to jump to that friendly number. But just like we did up here, we had to use this 2 here to add it to 398 and get 400. Well, that 2 came from 253. So with give one, take one, it's just a shorter way of recording what we did here. You're taking 2 away from 253 and you're giving it to this number. That way it doesn't change your total at the end. It's just moving the numbers around to make them friendlier to add with. So you can see we added 2 to get 400, and we subtracted 2 and we got 251. That's the same math you see happening on the number line up here. These strategies are both the most efficient to use when you have a number that you're adding that's very close to a multiple of 100. The other 2 strategies that you see on this poster here are the HTO chart. You'll notice that the HTO chart looks very similar to the tens and ones that we practiced up here. The only difference is that we are organizing it into our place values, hundreds, tens, and ones. This strategy here is getting you prepared to use the standard algorithm, and it's a really great strategy to use to check your work after using the standard algorithm. The last strategy on this poster is the break apart strategy. You can see that you are adding by the hundreds, then adding the tens, then adding the ones, and putting all of those amounts together. All of these strategies will get you to the final answer, but with this problem that we see on this poster, these two strategies were the most efficient to choose. They are even more efficient than the standard algorithm. So here I have the standard algorithm set up for this problem, and we're going to look at exactly why this is less efficient than using the give one, take one strategy. So remember, I always start with my ones place with the standard algorithm. 8 plus 3 equals 11. But remember, I can't put two numbers into this place value, so I have to think about how I'm regrouping. I need to regroup those 10 ones into a group of 10. So that would leave me with 1 left here and one group of 10 over here. 90, 9 groups of 10, plus 1 more would be 100, plus 50 would be 150, or 15 groups of 10. 15 groups of 10, just like we said, 150, I can't have hundreds be in this place value. So the group of 100 needs to go here, and the 5 tens stays in the tens place. 300 plus 200 is 500, plus 1 more is 600. I still got the same final answer, but all of the regrouping took a lot of time and left a lot of chances for mistakes. Where when I did the give one, take one strategy, all I had to do was add 2 and take away 2, and that was something I could do in my head. So that's what we mean when we say pick an efficient strategy. Instead of doing all of that regrouping, you could have just given 2 and took away 2 and done the rest of the math in your head by adding 400 plus 251. Now I want you to pause the video and solve this equation using 2 different strategies. After you have solved, I want you to think about which strategy was the most efficient, which one needed the least number of steps, which one was the fastest, and which one could you do more steps in your head to solve. Take a picture of your 2 strategies and put them on your Learning Jobs slides for the math stations to show your teacher your work. Circle the strategy that was the most efficient for you.